Welcome into the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show. I'm Jordan Ham alongside Haley Stasiak. We have a jam-packed show for you. First things first, congratulations to the 2A state champion Thatcher Eagles and the 3A state champion Castile Colts. Now we're looking ahead to the 4A, 5A, and 6A state championships. And with that, we're going to bring in Chandler head coach Shaun Aguano. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me on there.
So you are back in the state championship, looking to go back-to-back. A lot of players from last year's state championship team are on this one. How are they using that experience this year in this upcoming game?
I think their experience with the younger kids in our preparation for this week has been incredible. And so just keeping the nerves down and going about our business, I think the older guys have taken control.
How does this 2017 team differ from other teams that you've coached at Chandler?
I think every team is a little different. The chemistry, the talent. This team is likes each other a lot, and so the chemistry has been there since the start of this season. Everybody does what they supposed. I think that's been a huge advantage for us this year.
With this offense, I know that you had some injuries earlier in the year on both sides of the ball, but now everyone's fully healthy. But with this offense, there are so many ways that you can beat teams, whether it's in the run game or the pass, and there are just plenty of weapons on the outside, and Jacob Conover is such a weapon with his arm and with his legs. What do you foresee for this offense here in this upcoming weekend?
I think we're going to try to be balanced and give what the defense gives us, or take what the defense gives us. Last game against Red Mountain, they were concentrating a lot on the run and stopping Drake Anderson and DeCarlos Brooks, and then they had to cover Gunnar Romney one-on-one and Jared Caldwell, and that's a task in itself. So I think being balanced, it's going to be hard for a defense to stop us.
You look at the 6A division and the talented offenses that make it up. Your defense seems to stop these opposing teams every single week. How has the increased competition in 6A helped with your guys' confidence?
I think it's been incredible. I like our matchups against teams, especially athletic-wise, and so teams that in scoring a lot, I think it's a motivation for our defense to take it on themselves to shut these guys down. And so every week preparing for these, that's their motivation, and they have done really well the last couple of weeks coming into this championship.
You're facing off against the Perry Pumas this weekend, a familiar opponent for you guys. What did you learn playing this team earlier in the regular season and beating them?
I think that we just can't contain Brock Purdy and have him throw the ball earlier than he needs to, and then play tough physical football. I think from a defensive line standpoint, I think we're a very talented group, and so if they can contain and play physical football and Chandler football, I think we'll be okay.
Chandler has been so successful over the past few years, and Perry has made their way up the rankings as well. Just what does it say about Chandler football as a whole, the city of Chandler, that two of the top teams are facing off in the state championship in 6A?
I think that it says a whole lot, not about the administration and the Chandler School District, but also about the youth football programs and getting them prepared for high school football, and then high school football getting prepared for college. But I think everybody's doing an incredible job in the youth football leagues and spreading out talent all over the schools. Most of the schools in the East Valley are very successful, and so I think it'll keep on going.
Coach, thanks so much for the time. Safe travels and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, that was Shaun Aguano from the Chandler Wolves, defending state champions, hoping to repeat here, but they have a tough task going against the Perry Pumas. What was your biggest takeaway from what Coach Aguano said?
He mentioned the athleticism that his team has, and you ask any opponent, and they're going to mention that. We talked to Brock Purdy last week at Media Day, and the first thing that he said when I asked him about what the biggest challenge was going to be about this Chandler team, beyond the obvious of the talent that they have, was just the athleticism that they have.
And I think it's one thing that he referenced with the Red Mountain game last week that they had was that they were able to limit the run against Drake Anderson, against DeCarlos Brooks, two very good running backs, but then that just opened things up for Gunnar Romney, and he had 5 touchdowns. Jacob Conover threw for 7. So that just kind of speaks to the amount of talent and the amount of depth that the Chandler Wolves have. But I think that, Perry, it's very tough for a team to beat the same team twice in 1 year. So it definitely is going to be interesting, and I feel like Perry's ready for this one as well.
Definitely. And another thing with this whole conversation was we talked last week, or 2 weeks ago now, I believe, that meshing, these teams meshing and really getting along has benefited and led to a lot of success. And he mentioned that this team just really likes each other. And it's big for a coach to say that. I mean, you have a lot of high school kids that are going through and kind of figuring themselves out, and it's hard to find a large group of guys like this. I mean, I think Chandler has 140 some guys on their roster. It's hard for a group that large to really mesh, but for that group to just kind of get along, it's great.
And there are a lot of college eyeballs on Chandler, so there could even be sometimes a jealousy factor in a program like that where there's so much talent, maybe guys aren't getting maybe the offers that they want or they deserve. So that can be certainly a tough dynamic, but it seems like they've navigated that great. They were having so much fun at Media Day. You can really tell that they do like each other, and same goes for Perry as well. So that should be a really good one. They kick off 7:07 at Arizona Stadium on December 2nd. I will be down there covering that one, so that will be a very fun game. Coming up next, we're going to have Centennial coach Richard Taylor to help break down the 5A bracket on the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show.